Assisted Ario again here to do another lesson, and today's lesson is all about problem solving. So I kind of position my camera so you can see the poster I have in the background here that all of you have in your classrooms, our UPS check poster. You'll also see on my screen I made a little poster so it's easier to see on the screen because I know with the lighting there might be some glares here. So I just wanted to review with you quickly the UPS check when we use our problem solving strategy, and then we're going to practice a couple of word problems using this strategy. And then I also have a link for you after this video to practice some word problems, and I really want you to go through these steps to solve the word problem. So you should have paper and something to write with so that you don't have to copy the word problems down, but you can at least write down the important information, what you would underline, what your plan is, and solving. So let's go through the steps here. My first letter in UPS check is my U, and that stands for the word understand. And this is where we read the word problem carefully. If you can't read it, then you have someone that can read it help you. So like if we were at school, we raise our hand and the teachers can read the math problems to you. With the links that I send, hopefully they have a button that you can push that will read the problem to you if you can't read it. Then we need to underline any important information. So a lot of times we underline the numbers in the problem. We sometimes circle the question, which is completely fine, just so we understand what's going on with the problem. Then our next step is P, which is to plan. This is where we choose our operation. On my screen, you'll see I only included the operations of plus or minus, addition or subtraction, because that's all the further we've gotten. Next year in third grade, we will add the multiplication and division. So for now, we are only focusing on the addition and subtraction. Then our S step is to solve. So this is where we show our work, we write down our equation, and we solve the problem. And the check is we check, maybe we could use a related fact. So if we did addition to solve, we could go back and use a subtraction problem to check our answer. This isn't the most important step. For now, I would mainly like to just focus on these three. And then as we get into higher grades, the check is a little more important. So let's just focus on the U, the P, and the S. All right, and again, on my screen, I have the same thing. I just shortened it for us a little. So I'm going to adjust my screen back here, and I'm going to go to our first word problem that I would like to practice. Let me do this so I have my tools with me. All right. So I'm going to read the problem first, and then we're going to go back and do it step by step to solve. So the problem is, on April Fool's Day, the neighborhood kids got together to play jokes. 31 kids played in the morning, 22 kids played in the afternoon, 17 kids played in the evening. How many kids did play on April Fool's Day? So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to think about my steps that we just went through. So my first step is the U, if we can see the U here, which is understand. So I'm going to put a U right here next to the word problem because this is where that step takes place. And I'm going to go back, reread, and underline the important information. On April Fool's Day, the neighborhood kids got together to play jokes. Nothing really important there that I need to underline or know to solve the problem. 31 kids played in the morning. That's important, so I'm going to underline that sentence. 31 kids played in the morning. 22 kids played in the afternoon. Again, I'm going to underline that's important because it's telling me how many kids. I'm just going to do 22 kids. I don't need to do the whole sentence. 17 kids played in the evening. Again, that's important. So I'm going to underline that part of the sentence. How many kids did play on April Fool's Day? So this is the part where I need to focus on my question because this is going to help me figure out my plan, which is my next step. So if I go down into my box and I make a P for plan, I'm going to think, what is my question asking? How many kids did play on April Fool's Day? So what do you think the plan would be? So think about it for a minute. Is it taking things away or are we putting things together? Most likely what the question is asking, what the question is asking is we're putting the amounts of kids together because they want to know how many kids played on the day, and it tells us how many kids played in each part of the day. So we are going to add. So our plan is to use addition. And then our next step is to solve. So this is where we are going to do our equation. Now, if I look closely, I have 3 addends here. So that means I'm going to make sure I write my problem vertical up and down. That's the easiest way to solve. Because if you write it horizontal, you would still have to rewrite it vertical up and down. So I'm going to write my problem. My handwriting might not be the neatest because I'm using these tools on my screen here. So I'm going to write my problem. There's my addition, my equals. All right, since there are 2-digit numbers, I'm going to draw my line down to separate my tens and my ones place. And we know, because we just practiced, that we're going to start in the ones place. I'm going to add up my ones. So I have 3 addends. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do 2 plus 1. That's pretty easy, is 3. And then I know 7 plus 3 more is 10. Makes a 10, so I'm going to put my 0 in the ones place, and I'm going to regroup my 1 over to the tens place. Then I'm going to add up my tens. So I have 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 more is 6, plus 1 more is 70. So our answer is 70. So then on the line, I would write 70, and then I would use the words from the problem and I would write my label, 70 kids, and we could even write a sentence if we would like to. 70 kids played on April Fool's Day. All right, we have time. I'm going to do one more real quick, going through again the same strategy. Let me go down a little bit here to my next problem. So again, I'm going to go through, I'm going to read the problem first, and then I'm going to go through my steps of my poster, my U, my P, my S, just for right now. And I will say we might get cut off, so I will come back on to finish in a second video if we get cut off. So the next problem reads, Sam and Hannah recycled a total of 87 plastic bottles. Sam recycled mouthwash bottles. Hannah recycled 48 dish soap bottles. How many bottles did Sam recycle? So here I'm going to go through and get my tools ready, and I'm going to do my understand. So I'm going to go back and reread it and then underline the important information. Sam and Hannah recycled a total of 87 plastic bottles. That's important, and especially this word here, total, I'm going to underline as well. So they recycled a total of 87 plastic bottles. Since it's the word total kind of tells me that that might be my answer. So that I'm not trying to find out the sum or difference, I might be trying to find out a missing number. Sam recycled mouthwash bottles. There's nothing in there, there's no number, so I'm not going to underline this problem. Hannah recycled 48 dish soap bottles, so I'm going to underline that. And then how many bottles did Sam recycle? So what is my question asking? It's not asking what is the total number of plastic bottles. It's asking how many bottles did Sam recycle? Just Sam, because remember up here it told me that he recycled mouthwash bottles, but it never told me an amount. So let's go down to our plan. This is where it gets a little tricky because if I go back up to my problem, I already know my total. So I already have an answer. I have one of the parts. I'm missing a second part. So if we go back and we think